information that can help you. I look a lot at pricing. Sometimes to the board's frustration, I look at pricing to make sure you're in line with that of other small rural hospitals. And what I typically find is that smaller rural hospitals don't want to charge their local patients as much as what's the average of the state. So that's, I'm not going to tell you, I'm come here and make you change your prices, but I work with hospitals on pricing so you know where your prices are compared to your peer groups. You need to know where that is. On a lab test, if you charge $100, do you know what other hospitals are charging? Do you know what Hendricks is charging? Do you know what other hospitals in the rural communities are charging? And I can help you with that to make sure you're comfortable with where you are. It's a position you choose to be at, but I can help you learn that information. Collection process is big. I end every single board meeting, whether I have hospitals that have $10 million in the bank or don't know how they're going to make the next payroll. I tell hospitals collections are the only thing that keeps the hospital doors open. And if you're not focusing on collections, then we need to refocus, because that is crucial for a hospital's business office to be focused on. I look at a lot of departmental profits. To be honest with you, Andy and I and Deborah and Billy have spent the last hour just going through a list of questions that they had about, just the sky's the limit questions. Do we open a physical therapy department? Do we expand our physical therapy department? Do we open up a rural health clinic in another location? Do we not? I mean, just questions, how to handle situations. I help hospitals find information to make good decisions to make their departments more profitable. I hope that I give valuable information to help you make a wise decision. That's what I hope to be able to do. How many, these numbers are completely made up, how many of you know the benefit every year financially, what it is for you to be a critical access hospital? Do you know what that number is? Not at all. That is something I like to tell all of my critical access hospitals. If you would have been a PPS hospital, you would have been paid these many dollars for routine patients or swing bed patients, and you were paid these dollars, okay? And that adds up to, in your case, it's going to be over $1 million that the critical access benefit means to you. It's a big, big number. I have hospitals where the annual benefit's $300,000, the annual benefit's $1 million or more. And I tell them how it's broken out between swing bed, inpatient, outpatient, bed debt. Those are things that you or Andy and Deborah need to know every year. It helps you become better managers of your business. It helps you to decide, and I will tell you without ever looking at an ounce of utilization that you're probably not utilizing your swing bed program like you should. That's my guess. A small hospital like you should have a lot of swing beds. I don't know if you do. I don't know if you don't. But that's something that you benefit from critical access greatly. Okay, that's something your local community residents can benefit from. They can come home, get services in your community rather than being in Abilene or being in some of the larger facilities. It's something you would want to promote and bring here. And I can help you learn how much financially helps us, And where are the medical necessity requirements that make you limit yourself? Those are important things to know. Every time I come to deliver an audit, I tell my hospitals, and I don't think telling you this information is as big a deal. How many days cash you have on hand, how many days it takes for you to roll over an accounts receivable claim, average payment period. I don't think it's that big of earth-shattering news to you, your numbers. But I think what becomes very valuable for me is I come to you and I tell you, what do you compare to your peers? And I will tell you the biggest controversy comes with days and accounts receivable in a lot of my small rural hospitals. The average the average rural community hospital is supposed to turn their bills over in accounts receivable in 55 to 60 days. So from the date the service is provided until the day the claim is actually closed and paid by all the payers should be 55 or 60 days. And rural community hospitals have a hard time getting everything done in 60 days. And that's where you need somebody telling you and pushing you and shoving you and saying, this is not turning cash over fast enough in your accounts receivable. And I know that there are many hospitals in Texas that are forced right now to deal with electronic health records. The stimulus fund, the stimulus bill that was passed a couple of years ago put money in a bucket for health care. And that money in the bucket, you receive that money by assessing new or upgraded or better software systems to be able to report your electronic health records under the fashion that it was intended, and you're rewarded if you do so. I know you've heard the word meaningful use, probably. You have to meet the intention of the program by meaningful use, and if you do so, then you get paid an extensive amount of money. Okay? I know that you guys have changed over to a new system, just like many other hospitals in Texas. And I will tell you, you are not alone. That is a very, very frustrating thing that hospitals are dealing with right now. Whether you're in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, or stage 4, it is crucial that you know where you are and where other hospitals are. Sometimes when you know where your peers are, it incentivizes you to get better. You know, I come to you with a lot of peer data. Okay. Some of the things that I like to help my hospitals do to make themselves more effective on this list, we do a lot of cost report interim reviews. Where are you in that $1 million, one patient, $1 million, two patients? What is that cost report receivable or payable going to be? We do a lot of work helping you if you want it, you know. I see a lot of hospitals, critical access hospitals, as a matter of fact, that have a lot of hard times reporting Medicare bad debt. The reporting mechanisms that have to be in place by pulling the data for every Medicare patient that is not paying his deductible or his co-insurance, Medicare will pay that to you on your cost report. And the reporting mechanism that it takes to be able to get the government, CMS, to pay you for your Medicare bad debt is challenging. I'm not going to say it's impossible. That's just something small hospitals really contend with, the reporting. And that's something that we help try to get as many of those dollars for Medicare and Medicaid patients paid for you. Some of the things that are going on right now that are really big are the 1115 waiver and the planning that it takes for that. I knew not to put Medicaid Dispro on this. I meant to take it off because you guys don't get Dispro because you don't deliver babies, and I put that on there. Just it goes hand in hand with me, so I apologize. Some of the other things that I like to be able to help my clients with that I'm a part of, I will profess to you, I am not the auditor. And I am not the cost report preparer. I have lots of people in my firm that do those things, that I have the utmost confidence that they will work with the audit and they will work with the cost report. I am the person that takes both of those and works with the hospital to make everything else the best it can be. You know, I do a lot of the consulting sides of things. You know, if Deborah calls and says, I've got a rural health clinic billing question, how can I take care of it? I hope, if I can't answer it, I find somebody that does. If Andy calls and says, Deborah, we're having a problem trying to figure out X, Y, Z, I try to help you do that. So I work with a lot of these projects. CMS opened up to critical access hospitals a 340B pharmacy program that enables you to benefit off the pharmacy scripts that are written through the drugs in your community, and you receive a financial benefit. Now, there's some work involved, there's some paperwork involved, most critical access hospitals, let me back up. I think only about 50% of the critical access hospitals in Texas are actively participating in 340B. That's something that we could introduce. I don't think you're doing that at this point, are you?
We're already working towards it. Yes.
Working towards it. Okay. It's something that you need to continue. There is money benefit for you to be a part of the 340B program. I would be an advocate of saying yes, that's something you need to explore. I do a lot of forecasting. If we want to open up a clinic, a rural health clinic in another community, what are the steps? How do we do this? What's the timing? How many patients do we see? Those types of things are a lot of what I work with. Okay, we can take it as intricately detailed as you would like it, or as broad and as general as you would like it, but I can help. I can help with those things. Coding and billing processes. If I am your auditor, I cannot code and I cannot bill for you, but I can try to find you help to try to do some of those things. Charge master review. I would recommend that you have a charge master review done once every 2 to 3 years. I think there are hospitals that go longer periods of time without them, but I think those need to be done. I have the resources to be able to do that for you. I don't do it myself, but I have the resources to help you get that done if that's something that you need me to help you with. And like I said earlier, pricing comparisons. I do a lot of pricing comparisons for hospitals to make sure they know they're in the ballpark. I don't know if y'all wanted me to talk 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or 2 hours, because I have the ability.
Not 2 hours.
I have the ability to ramble forever. So I do want to summarize. What I want to do is to assure you that Waco, while we sound like we're a big firm, Waco, in my office, and the people I work with directly, we're the key to healthcare in Texas. Okay? What I would love and what I would be honored to do is be your auditor and cost report preparer. And I would love the opportunity to be able to work with you on all those other things that I think make you a successful hospital in between that audit and cost report. And I think seeing the full picture helps me do a better job of all that stuff in between. But I came here to tell you what I do and how it works. And
one thing I think the board needs to know is, the problems we had this year with all of our reports being late, everything being late. She's assured us she's never been late. She might have to amend something.
Well, here's what I assured you. I think filing it late is unacceptable. I will tell you what we have done in instances when we need information and don't have it, the information is not accurate, or something, the dog ate it. We file something. Even if it's wrong, we will file it and come back and amend it within a short period of time to prevent the client from going on withhold. Okay? I know, I'm not happy this is on film, I know that the intermediary, it takes them 10 business days to process those cost reports. I know if we don't file it by February the 28th, I know that I have until about March 10th to get it in. But I can guarantee you by March the 10th, you're going to have something filed, so you're not going to get a letter that says you have 14 days to file, or you're going to be put on withhold. So essentially, here's how it works. Your cost report's due February the 28th. It takes Medicare 10 to 14 days to process and send you a letter that says you have 10 to 14 days to file it. I'm going to be able to figure out something in 28 days to get filed to prevent you from going on withhold until we get something done right. That's just the way it is. So, I haven't had anybody on withhold because of us, but I don't understand that. That's one of the things that, they always tell you to overpromise and underperform, or overperform and underpromise, whichever the case may be. I'm not going to file your cost report late, and I'm not going to let you be on withhold. There are lots of ways around that. The pen, I'm a very big improviser. The pen out of my glasses broke. And the pen out of my glasses broke when I was sitting there talking Andy and Deborah. And I put a paper clip in it. It works perfectly fine. I know how to make things work. I can make things work till we get there all together. So, there are lots of different ways to make things work.
Do any of y'all have questions you'd like to ask her?
Sounds good.
Well, I can already tell you, since I've been on the board, I've learned more from you in this short period of time in the meeting we had in Andy's office than our auditor has ever shared with us.
That'll bring
Okay,
our revenue, all this delay that we're having right now that's costing us, that although it's so late that we can't file it anymore, and on and on and on. That'll stop that, from what you said.
Well-
If that's what we're looking at, it's a no-brainer.
Well, here's what I can't get those claims paid, but I can certainly get information to you to help you figure out how to start getting that paid. And I will tell you that we met on what? June 20,
21st or 22nd,
it
somewhere
was
around
towards the
there.
end of
Yeah, I can't
June.
remember the date.
And we had a conversation that day that you guys had some billing problems, okay? We got on the phone and we called someone very near and dear to me. She works and does projects for me. She's an RN and she's a certified coder. Deborah, we called her, I cold called her. Jan, I'm at a hospital that needs some help. Here's the situation. When I got back to the office the next morning, she had somebody specifically in mind. I called Andy and said, Andy, I know somebody who I think you should let come to the hospital a couple of days, see if they can help. I handed it to you, said you decide. Y'all had her down July 4th and 5th. 4th and 5th because she was able to use one of her holidays, and she took a paid day off to come help you guys. And I think she gave you some benefits. She helped you see something within your system that helped you learn. And so I hope, if I can't do it myself, I can help you find resources that will be beneficial to you. I told Andy, I said, Jan Neal said that this person is strong with what she does. She uses this system in another hospital, and they've struggled as well. And I'm going to let you make that decision. And so, I may not have done it, but I hope I can open some resources to help you get some of that stuff done. Because I have to help that, you have to get that fixed.
Yes.
That's just all there is to it. If you don't fix it, you don't have any cash. So, and that doesn't make you any different from any client that I have. You have to get your bills submitted and your claims paid.
When is our contract with Anderson up?
It was actually up when you turned in the audited financial report.
So,
And we have not got any agreement in place with him. So,
Now
it's
we
a
don't
year-to-year.
have- we don't have any.
It's a year-to-year agreement.
I have a book that I made this book for you. It talks about my firm. It talks about some of the things we do. It's a little bit catered to your hospital, and I didn't give it to you before because I didn't want you looking at it while I'm talking, but it's your leisure. It's your leisure. This is just information for all of you to just have,
One thing that you all do need to know is it's going to cost us more money, but when you look at what we paid for, and that's being put on the hold and having all the problems, and
It's a long-run picture, looks like.
yes.
Well, I hope so. That's my job to help you.
do we know what the fee is?
Yes.
Well,
If you will turn to page 7 in your workbook.
Marvin is ex-banker.
I think it's on page 7. You might want to check my math here. We do a package for audit and cost report. If I did your audit and I didn't do your cost report, or I did your cost report and I didn't do your audit, the fee would be greater individually. The package is $32,000. And that is based on the fee that I think it takes to come in and do, based on the amount of entities and work that we would have to do for you. And then any of those other,
And this does come back to an allowable cost on our cost
one,
report?
yes, sir, absolutely. I couldn't stand myself when I told you that was not allowable. Any of these services, interim cost reports, and any of these other services, that is not included in the 32. So any of the extra stuff would be a prearranged amount, and Andy and I would talk about it project by project. We would know going into it. I like to give you a ballpark of hours or fees, but that's auditing cost reports.
And I'm curious, I was looking on your map, what is the other small hospital? Abilene, I don't consider small.
This is my list of other, does that say critical access? These are my critical
Yeah,
access
okay.
hospitals right there.
Right.
Those are the ones I currently do. Coming or going, that's a pretty close list, you know. So, Hamlin is probably your closest person down the road. I am in the process of helping and assisting Hamlin to convert to critical access, and they've been a long-time client. They're in a close area. Ballinger is one of my, it's a couple hours south from you, but Ballinger is a very typical hospital, very much like you.
Crosscutters relatively close to us.
I will tell you two hospitals that are very mirrored to you about problems and size is Rankin and Reagan County, which is in Big Lake. Those two communities deal with very low volume as well, and I do both of theirs. So they deal with a lot of the similar issues that you deal with low volume. So
It wouldn't take long to make it to 36,000, drop collection.
Well, we paid Anderson 18.5.
What do you get?
We didn't get much this year, did we?
Didn't sound like it.
We had really big issues, and it cost us a lot of problems. And my personal opinion, with the meeting I sat in with Deborah, and with this meeting tonight, and Andy, who's checked things out, I think we would be wise to do this.
That's good.
So,
When do we want a decision?
tonight.
I'm not making you decide tonight. You can take all the time that the Lord
I mean,
desires.
we don't have to,
This is
but-
not a pressure thing.
If it's a majority deal, get it done.
I mean, my personal opinion is we need to get an auditor and get that.
Well, we need something besides Anderson, because they don't give us any help at all.
I think it's all those things in between that are more important than the audit and cost report. And
That's true.
I think that that's what makes up the difference.
Deborah, it's just a lot easier line, I mean, my collection on it. It's different from the computer system. Only know, you think it would be beneficial or here for you? Randy? Here for you?
I can be, I interviewed, of course, I talked to Deborah, considered it. I interviewed 3 other cost report companies, 2 others in the state of Texas, 1 out of Oklahoma. I asked Deborah to come here because honestly, I didn't even want to give you an option on the other 3 because I did not like the way they, I just didn't like what they promised and what they could deliver. It was basically they will come in, do an audit and a cost report, send it in, and you're done with them for the year.
That's not my style. I'm going to bug you a little bit more than that.
That's not what we've been getting.
And that's exactly what,
Yearly
that's where we.
services, they don't want to help us anymore.
And we will have to pay extra for some additional help,
Yeah.
but we need the resources that she has to offer us. You know, we haven't had resources because,
Once you get caught up on it, you kind of get your hours off on it, you get rolling in hours.
It becomes where I need less and less assistance.
well,
That's exactly right. And you will find that I'm not near, in year 2, as active once we get some of this stuff back on track. And I may not do anything more than hound y'all to death on what you need to be doing, but I'm going to push.
and Deborah explains things in layman terms so we can all understand. The meeting we had in Andy's office, waiver that we've been discussing, I had no idea what it was until she explained it. You know, so I think there's a lot of.
Yeah, I think I confused the issue trying to explain it a few times. But, I don't know, that's the reason she's here, guys, because I feel like the best option is the most beneficial for us right now. And like I said, I need the resources to get some of our problems solved.
We have some major problems we've got taken care of. Y'all have any questions for her, or?
Well, she, never Debbie, Deborah, but will you be able to help specifically with, we're having trouble with the billing and getting everything in the system right? Do you have somebody that's going to help us with that?
Well, that lady that she sent down here, is that what she came and helped with? Yes.
Okay, now is it better?
Well, it's getting there. I mean, because, well, I'll cover some things in my administrative report, but the lady that showed up did help, and we're getting some other outside help with our general ledger mapping in the system. You can actually pull up a report now and start seeing some, they're not accurate yet, but you can starting to see some reports that make sense. We're 3 weeks.
Case flow is what we need.
Yes.
With the help that they've got, that they have received, even though it hasn't been a lot, but it shows you where to go. And, you know, this new system, this other lady worked with it, she was able to answer a lot of questions and showed them a lot of things that we didn't know.
She showed us some reports available from the Medicare DDE website that we never knew existed before. That give the status of your claims.
Here's a little bit of my problem. My hands are tied a little bit on, I can't do that for you since I'm your auditor, but I'm just active enough and see enough, I have the resources to give you help. Okay?
That's what we need.
That I'm not going to be the one that's going to come and do all of it. Now, I can do things that make you a better business operationally, but that hands-on stuff, there's a fine line between you doing it and me doing it, and if I'm your auditor, I cannot, okay? And I know that line. I know that line, and I'm not going to cross that line. But I will be active enough with you to help you get it fixed.
That's what we need, I think, is somebody that cares enough that they will find somebody to help us.
Give me options A, B, C, or D.
We haven't had that.
It appeared when I come on board, we didn't have it.
Okay, so what do y'all want to do?
I'm going to also just tell you something that I've had a few hospitals that I was the board's worst nightmare the first year or two. Because as we start getting where I'm giving you reports, or I come after we do our first year audit, you're not going to love me. Because I'm going to be very honest with you, and I'm going to say, you know what, this is not where it needs to be, this is not where it needs to be, this is what we need to fix, this is where we need to go, okay? And I've had hospitals who, the administrators didn't love me the first year because I was very honest with the boards. I will honestly tell you, the hospital in Crane, Texas, very low volume as well, they were not a hospital district, they were a county-owned hospital at that time. Their administrator despised me the first year or two that I came because they were in pretty difficult shape. And about year 3, maybe year 4, I began to compliment. This is where it needs to be. I am very proud of you for getting this done. This is in line with your peer group. And they're in a very, very healthy hospital now. Not because of me, but because of the information that I gave them to go do stuff. And their administrator told me, Deborah, you are as kind with the good as you are harsh with the bad. And we appreciate your honesty. I've been told that a few times. So you have to bear with me as we work through. You may not love being told it's not where you need to be, but I promise you when you get there, I will be very happy for you, if that makes any sense. So you as a board will have to kind of bear through the the honesty of getting it there. Doesn't mean it's bad, it just means we need to be in line. So, I've been told that of myself, so.
What do you, President, do you want to put more discussion, do you want to?
That's up to y'all. Do y'all
Motion
need more,
or
do you want to make a motion? Do y'all want to discuss it more? What do y'all want to do?
I like what she told us. I apologize for leaving that sometime, I had to ask her. I like what she said. I apologize for not being in here when y'all were discussing that, probably was not said, is this an upfront cost, or is this a?
That's for the audit and the cost report.
That will be incurred throughout the year.
And then if we have, then you're on like retainer.
Yeah.
Then their hourly rates
The
are
hourly
different
rates.
things, it's all, it's different people doing different things for how much time, you know.
Plus the fact that she can give us resources.
Right, I like that.
You know,
Well, this is already more information than we've ever gotten from other firms, so I don't,
She kind of like listening to her, and I didn't tune in out. The other ones I had tuned out before, but I thought,
well, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate y'all letting me come, and,
well, thank you for coming all the way up here. So.
you know, I'm happy to do that, you know, that's what I do, so that's what I'm supposed to do. I feel like Carol Burnett going, that's all, guys, whatever she, good night, folks. This filming thing, I can honestly tell you gotta clean us up.
And we
Well,
get
this is our
familiar
first
with
board
this.
meeting to be filmed.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
Okay, what a start.
Okay, what does the board, what does the board want to do?
I'm fine with the information we've been presented. I don't,
Well,
I'm
we
sure if I
need-
think of any questions, I can probably find the answers for them, so.
Does anyone want to make a motion that we hire BKD as our auditor and cost report? Okay, we have a motion from Buddy. Anybody want to second that? Sandy seconds it. Okay, do we have any more discussion? No more questions? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. We have just hired Deborah Whitley with BKD to be our new auditor and cost report.
Now, I've got pictures of people in there that will also be working and assigned. I mean, I've got other people in there that are very good resources to reach out to, and there will be others beside that. I kind of try to show you a team of people in there as well. That would kind of be your cost report, your audit folks as well.
You'll come on site.
We will be on site for a week. Come on. We will probably be here at least 4 days, most are 5. So we will ask for a lot up front, though, you know, before we get here. But, yeah, that would be the typical plan. What I would suggest with you being in September year-end, I would suggest shortly around that period of time or shortly thereafter, what I would like for you to do is be able to plan that week of field work. You know, do you want us to come in October? Do you want us to come in November? What I would ask you as a board is to tell me when you want your audit delivered. Do you want it delivered in the month of February? Do you want it delivered in the month of March? I've got some September year-ends that say, I want it
Gosh, I
delivered.
thought we had to have it in June.
No, I need you,
We're lucky.
I need you to tell me I need you to tell me a time frame of when you want it delivered. It doesn't have to be tonight. So that we know we back into it, that helps determine field work. With you getting so many system problems, I have a fear that it might be a little bit later field work for you. And so we just have to work hard to get all that stuff done so that it's a timely delivery.
Well, I think what we need to do is let Deborah and Andy and everyone that's involved with it get with you and work that out. I don't think the board's going to have a preference.
No, I'm just being open. All of
Right.
that's very important. And so if you have some specific dates that you need us to come, you know, give me some options so that I can schedule that meets your time frame as opposed to you meeting ours. You know, so the earlier that we start looking at when you'll be ready for field work, the quicker the process is for me to get here to deliver that audit to you. I would hope to see you when I would hope to see you. If it's later than that, the system was a limitation. That's what I will tell you right now. Because otherwise I should be here sooner than that. I mean, in that time frame. Okay?
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Be safe, going back.
I will.
Safe trip.
Did I answer all your questions earlier?
Yes.
Okay. We don't have any outstanding this very moment?
I'm sure I'll have some more after Friday, so.
That's right. Would y'all mind if I took this for the road?
No, thank you. Okay, now, has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from the previous two meetings? Didn't include Sandy working in those meetings, but hi Deborah.
But,
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to
I
approve?
make a motion to approve.
Martin made the motion, do we have a second? Martin seconded, no more discussion or questions on it? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Passed unanimous. Okay, the next item, everybody get a chance to look at Andy's report. He may have a few additions to make to it, but
The physical therapy expansion on the first paragraph, that is not going to be an option. Ms. Whitley helped me clear that up. We do have to keep that on site, so I'm back to square one on that. I did have a meeting with, or a phone conversation with Mr. Grogan again Monday afternoon about the prognosis and the situation there. They have agreed to start, they're sending a gentleman here to help with the mapping and on top of what we're already doing ourselves. He will be here August the 1st for the full day. First sign of cooperation I've had from them in 2.5 months. Honestly, that came after a conversation where I told them if they did not get us help, we were going to scrap the system and start over. And they didn't want that to happen, so now we're getting some, at least got some movement out of them. We got some cooperation. And I guess put a little note in there about our great governor and his decision not to expand the Medicaid, but it does, even if he doesn't, it doesn't really, it will affect us some because I don't see how they can keep maintaining the Medicaid program the way it is right now. And really the only place, it will not affect the hospital that much or the clinic, but I'm afraid it will have a negative impact on the nursing home if they start cutting Medicaid any further. About 70% of our reimbursement for the nursing home comes from Medicaid. That 8% cut they did 60 days ago, just across the board, if they do that again, of course, that comes straight back to the hospital district to cover that cut. We're doing what we can to trim some expenses over there, but like I said, Medicaid cuts come directly off the bottom line. We're having to cover those losses dollar for dollar. So if they don't expand the Medicaid, it's just going to be that much more of an issue with locally to cover those losses that we have.
does anybody have any questions for Andy on anything on his report?
This 340B pharmacy deal.
Oh, yes,
That's moving along.
yeah, we started that process about a month ago. There's a company that's going to come in and help us set that up. It's called SunRx. Now, we do not have to pay them. They are paid from the pharmaceutical companies. This whole program is funded by governmental forced discounts from pharmaceutical companies. That's why pharmaceuticals don't like it that much. But the net effect is the preliminary studies are showing that we can make anywhere between $60,000 and $80,000 to the hospital directly as an income from this program, and it becomes helpful also because the local pharmacy here will be our contracting retailer, and her reimbursement will increase dramatically from this thing too. So it's a win-win for us, and and all of that money gets funded through discounts from the pharmaceutical. It doesn't impact the patients that much except for employees. There will be a wholesale discount for employees of the hospital district through the employee benefit program, but for the most part, for the big benefit for the community will be like if currently they're getting a prescription that they have to get through a mail order pharmacy or have to go to Abilene to get. This will enable the local pharmacy to get that in Florida, and they're not going to have to travel out of town or wait for mail order to get those drugs here. You know, probably won't save them a lot of money, but it will save them a lot of trouble locally. Like I said, the hospital district and the pharmacy will benefit the most from this discount.
Any other questions?
On the budget, it's coming back up into that pretty soon, like,
Yeah, I started working on the budget template for each individual department head to start. In the past, I think that was kind of dropped on Deborah to get the numbers put together. And the department heads had no accountability for maintaining their budget. This time they're going to make their budget. We're going to consolidate the numbers, and then I can go back and tell them, we've got to trim 10% out of your department, find a way to do it, and then we can hold them accountable. In the past, this has just been a number that's kind of been put together that hopefully we could stick with, but it's been something that I don't think has ever been tracked on a monthly deal about where you're sitting in that process.
does this involve the nursing home also?
Yes, it will involve the nursing home also.
And I'm just asking on the pay raises, I mean, is that something that we'll be looking at? I'm just.
We're going to have to. There's just
some kind
no
of
way.
cost of living, I don't know how much we've done.
Well,
We've done some in the past, but I just wondered.
We've got to get that under control because we can't just keep giving blanket merit raises across the board. I mean, just because you've been here another year, I mean, you've got to start demonstrating at some point that you've earned that you're doing something extra. I mean, there's just, right now, it's, no accountability. You're going to get your raise no matter what. You stick it out a year without giving it.
There's no incentive for that.
Right, there's no incentive.
The score on your evaluation, you give it
They've used that, but personally,
Is it still like that?
it is like that, but I've tried to get away with it, get away from that with the ones I'm doing. I mean, I'm trying to, in each individual meeting with the employee is, look, this is what I'm looking for, and this is what I want you to be working with. Now, it's a slow process because, I get to visit with 2 or 3 employees a month, or 3, or 4 maybe, but that's the most. So it's a slow process the way I'm doing it, but as each one comes up for review, but I'm seeing some results from some people, not from others, and it will show up in their next evaluation. So I'm just trying to set goals out there that they feel responsible for.
Any more
Like I said,
questions, Brian?
Well, Dr. Passon, he's already moved in, or is
Yes,
moving in, or what?
they've got,
Sunburn.
I think they've got nearly all of it. I think they're waiting on some of the kids' bedroom furniture to come in. He will be here officially starting full-time on the 25th. We moved the start date up a week. So starting Wednesday the 25th, he will be here for a minute. We decided to move. Everything's in shape. He's excited about the move. I talked to him today. He'll be here about 9 a.m. that morning, and we're in good shape. Everyone seems to be excited about him. Everybody seems to like him too. So I don't know how to do it. He's seeing lots of opportunities.
Okay, any more questions, Randy? Okay, James, I guess I noticed in here, everybody get a copy of his nursing home report. Not really anything on there.
We did get 2 new residents this last week. I think they have 2 more referrals that we got by next week. So maybe we can get back to 29 at least pretty quick.
Everybody read George's report? You have anything to add to it, George?
Well, I would like to say that in the clinic, we had an air conditioner go out, and we've had this air conditioner stored for years down there at Buddy's old thing, and we put that in and saved us about $5,000 from that deal. So we paid for the rental on that for all these years. And like I said, the flooring project is completed, ceiling is all completed, new ceiling throughout the hospital, and new flooring. So I haven't been in there to look, definitely go down there and look around.
It looks very nice. Okay, we don't have anyone here tonight with medical staff. Did y'all have a chance to look at the accounts payable for the hospital? Have any questions about any of the payments that were made? Or any questions at all?
I just have one on the shredding services, and I know I've brought this up before, we talked about it, but does each department shred their own stuff? Or do they just stack it to the side and give it to the shredder people when they shred it?
In this case, though, we were going through the medical records, trying to get rid of a lot of the dead weight, I mean, I should say dead files, basically, that we're storing. And we had such a volume of shredding at this point that you could burn up 1,000 of those little sheets.
So this isn't normal?
No, this is not a normal thing. We probably have to do this, once a year? We have to have them come in and
Because when we, again, the IUC has that shredding, remember that paper recycling here, the money will be going to the city park.
these were.
I mean,
medical
but if we
parts.
do that, I mean, if y'all do, instead of having somebody here to report, I mean, that's all I meant.
Okay.
How much water would be allowed in this new phase 2 of the city?
We don't know yet.
They have come out with any of that. This Department of Health Service payment here, how many more of those are we going to need?
We have, August.
One more. Any more questions on that? Anybody else have any more questions? Okay, let's look at the ambulance service, if there are payables and receivables.
Does the city still contribute to that?
They're always just a little bit later in the month.
And what is it?
They
It'll
have-
show up on next month.
Yeah, they haven't paid this month for the traffic. Or is that for,
Last month they paid
It
right
shows
after.
the county and.
Pay July,
hospital here.
34, that probably was June, money.
yeah.
Do what? I'm sorry.
Well, the city, they just had their city council, and they approved bills yesterday. So that's probably, they had went to their city council meeting and approved it.
Well, historically, because I was on the ambulance board, historically, the city is always later in that end of the week.
They have to approve it.
Any more questions on the ambulance?
Is the billing on the ambulance, are we still,
They're rocking and we'll do it.
are we doing it now?
Deborah outsourced that to,
Still outsourcing?
I did not want to do it in-house right now with the system.
The one that's already done it.
Okay, next we've got to update and sign policy procedure manuals. Do we have to have a motion to update these?
I think y'all have to, you have to approve the changes, which there should be a sheet outlining the changes.
Do we have that?
I asked them to
We
do that.
can't, we can't approve anything that we can't see.
I asked Maria specifically, she said it was on the, there was a cover page in her QA report. that had
Or there
that.
might be one that you made before, I don't know.
I asked her specifically, what that was.
No, it's just
We
her.
may have to table that, because we do have to have the board approve it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what we're approving before we.
They were, I asked them to make a cover letter and put it in there, and they said.
Is
they
there
did.
anything in any of those? Yeah, because I'm not gonna approve
Is
any
it not,
policies.
what is the policy?
Well, that was just a,
I mean, like you're going to the,
that was just a.
But that's not the
department.
individual
Yeah.
policy.
oh, the individual.
Yeah, that's not the, that's just the department that is going to what they're working.
This is just the sheet that you'll sign up.
I'll find out what it is.
But that's to, update, right?
And policy procedure.
Well, we're gonna have to table that because I'm not signing anything, I don't know what I'm approving. Okay, did y'all all get a chance to look at the new rental agreement for the position?
I've got an extra copy here.
Look at it quickly, and I certainly think it's better than what we had.
Yeah, Andy
No.
made some revisions in there,
The biggest change in it will be,
because we didn't have anything to protect us if somebody messed the house up.
yeah, that whole print was the biggest change. There's some other minor changes, but this does make the tenant or the resident responsible for any damages incurred.
And Dr. Patchman is,
Yeah, and we've already got the check out, the walkthrough on the initial thing done, so. But he's okay when they're fine with everything, so I wanted to make sure y'all, I haven't got him to sign this lease yet, he does have a copy of it, but I wanted y'all to approve this lease before I had him sign it.
So are y'all all happy with it? Okay, does anyone want to make a motion that we,
I would make that motion.
I guess the motion would be to approve the rental agreement. Okay, Marvin's made a motion, anybody want a second? Buddy seconded, any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous. Okay, do y'all remember, I don't know how many of y'all were on here when we voted, not to let employees take patients in their personal vehicles? Well, we're having to do that, and Andy's checked out our insurance, and I'll let him tell you what he found out.
We do have what is called a hired not owned insurance provision with the THIE property and liability insurance. What this means that there are certain things we need to start doing to allow individuals to, technically me going to a conference, you need a copy of my driver's license and proof of insurance on my personal vehicle if I'm going to be going to a conference on hospital business. As far as carrying a patient whenever our van's down or transport for therapy sessions, we can do that, but we have to have designated drivers with their valid driver's license and their proof of liability insurance on file in our office. Now, the way that works, our rider kicks in as their personal insurance, liability insurance will pay for their cost of any accident. And if their damages exceed their liability limits, our hired not owned protects the hospital. So, say if they're in an accident, they're at fault, I think Texas liability minimum now is $50,000 on there. Say there's $100,000 in damage, their insurance would pick up the first $50,000 till it's maxed out, then our rider would protect the hospital on the next $50,000.
Were they asked to take their vehicles, or is that a volunteer, or do?
Well, it's more of a volunteer. The issue came up because, like I said, our van was down at Alternatives for about a week and a half here. And rather than just shut down the program, I did this, I allowed them to start using their personal vehicle.
He didn't know that we had voted.
I did not know that that was a official board policy until we got to discuss it. The other thing is, there's been times where the nursing home van has been down, and we've had a resident who's had a specialist appointment in Abilene. But we don't have our van running. In the past, an employee has volunteered to make that, because in a lot of cases, the family can't or is not able to come make the transportation arrangements for that resident. So we kind of get stuck between a rock and a hard place if the van's down. I do not want just an open policy allowed for, they can just jump in their cars and say if the van's running well, I don't want to be able to go jump in their car just because they don't want to ride the van. It's got to be on a case-by-case approval, and I would like it approved through me or through Deborah in this case, if I'm not around, before they just start doing it. I mean, I don't want an open door policy where anybody can do it.
No.
I think you need to specify certain people in the nursing home and certain
And there are
people
certain
in the
things like,
hospital.
there are certain provisions we have to be aware of that nursing has to clear. If a person has to be on oxygen or something during a trip in a car, you know, a CNA has to be riding with them at that point. If it's, a lot of the residents don't have to have that, anybody can take it, but if there are special medical provisions, you know, certain ones have to have a CNA riding with them.
There's been times that there's been a nursing home resident just brought up to town to take the bank, in a personal vehicle.
Yeah, in a person, and that's got to stop.
We
I understand.
might need to designate who's going to be authorized to do so.
Unless it's a family.
Family members can do it, but I mean, where I got into the issue was, like I said, do we shut down alternatives because the van's broke for 4 days, or do we, or, you know, if a resident needs an appointment and the van's not working, you know, I was not aware of the past policy. All I can do is that, if we do need to change some of our rules, I mean, the policy in here would state that before you are reimbursed. And even George, if he runs to Abilene to Builders or Home Depot for a part, you know, he needs to have his license, and if he's doing that in a personal vehicle, we need to have a copy of his valid insurance on file at the hospital. If we don't, our insurance writer will not protect us. So, we have to, there's certain rules we've got to start following too.
So really what needs to happen is for anyone that goes anywhere,
Even
In their
Deborah
personal
running to the bank in her personal vehicle, we've got to have her license and proof of insurance if she's going to the bank on hospital business. So, changes the rules up a little bit, but,
So
it's
how
not
do we-
complicated, and it's,
how do we need to we need to word this in a specific way, you know, because it needs to affect, I guess,
Any business conducted on behalf of the hospital in a personal vehicle.
you must have proof of insurance and valid driver's license on file at the hospital.
What about reimbursement?
You won't get, the reimbursement is 58 cents per month. That's
Or
already.
you keep your mileage, David?
No, she don't turn it in. I'm telling you, she don't do it.
okay, so does someone want to make that motion?
I make a motion, I'm not really sure what it needs to be, that we do need a policy for this, but it needs to state that any business conducted on behalf of the hospital in an employee's personal vehicle, we must have a copy of their valid driver's license and valid insurance card on file before they are allowed to leave the
Do
facility.
you want to say that hospital and nursing home?
Yes. Any business
Hospital
conducted on
district.
behalf of either of those institutions, it has to be, those things have to be on file.
I second.
Okay, so, any more discussion on that?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous. Okay, renovation of the room for the CT machine.
Okay, didn't get this into your package because I was hoping to get a third bid then. I've got two bids, BBC Construction out of Waxahachie or something. Yeah, Waxahachie. This is the actual construction part of the preparing the CT room. This is the leaded glass the window and the new leaded door that we'd have to have, plus the leaded sheetrock. $30,000 from Waxahachie
On 2 walls.
on 2 walls, yes. Now you gotta remember, this door and frame weighs about
Leaded
900
sheetrock on
pounds.
2 walls.
The window weighs about 425 pounds. And we're talking about some extremely heavy. And most of the cost involved here, that just the material cost alone is around $17,000 for the leaded sheetrock, leaded window, and leaded door and frame. Mr. Mackey, the guy who did the doctor's house for us, turned a bid in for $26,410. He was the last one I got in, I guess.
Does he know what he's
Does
doing?
either one of these firms have experience doing
Yes,
something
both
like
of them
that?
do.
We're doing this?
We're doing this. Matter of fact, Mackey did the new radiology and CT room at Stanford Memorial last year.
What was his bid?
26,000, but he did tell me that he could come down $1,500 on that. So he gives himself a little wiggle room, but because the material cost is so high, there's not as much, I got him down, what, 5,000 on the
So-
so.
BBC's bid is $30,000 and Mackey's bid is $26,410.
So he had come down.
But I can get him down, yeah, I can
Well,
get him down.
we have to accept the bid at what's here. Were you satisfied with the job they did at the doctor's house?
95%, yes.
Have
And there's
you-
always some few minor issues.
Talked to them at Stanford, are they pleased with what he did over there for their radiology department?
Yes, Rick before said they did a good job of what he did there, so.
When could he start?
Oh, he could start on it tomorrow, but, I was hoping to get a couple of years.
Yes.
We really.
Dr. Passman said last week he could have had 5 CT.
Yeah, he could have had 3 there.
We're losing money every
Yeah, every day we don't have it. I mean, I realize it's a deal on the MRI, they're not going to CTs. We did have 2 MRIs every day. It's, I would like to, like I said, I can still, y'all can approve a bid for me and I can still work them down. I mean, they're not.
Well, you can always go lower.
Yeah,
You
we
just
can
don't have
always
the
push-
authority to go higher.
Exactly. I did try to get 2 or 3 local contractors to look at it, but when they start looking at the materials and the weight of those doors and the type of construction we have on those walls, they really didn't want nothing to do with it. That door is 900 pounds. It's ridiculous what they do with that.
I think we ought to go with the one that did the doctor's house, if you were satisfied with the work.
Yeah, I mean, there were some little touch-up things, but he wasn't there.
Stanford Hospital was satisfied with the work.
So she said,
I would like to see it.
Oh, I thought you said no.
Did I see it?
no, I said, did you want to?
Yes, I want to.
So Stanford, you talked to Rick before and said they did a good
Yes,
job.
they did a real good job over there. And honestly, Mr. Markey doesn't like doing that kind of work because when you're talking about a sheet rock with that lead line in it goes to almost 90 pounds for one sheet.
Does this have to be approved by state or anyone after they?
Oh, yes, after they finish
If it doesn't pass, are they gonna be responsible with it?
yes, they have to be responsible for getting it back
To get it into compliance.
to get it into compliance, because the CT company, which is Phillips, will come in, install the machine, and they will have a physicist with literally a Geiger counter with the machine on, trying to find radiation leaks. If it doesn't pass, we got to come back and redo it.
Okay, so what do y'all want to
That's
do
why
about
I don't want to do it.
this? Well, we don't want you to do it.
I make a motion to go with Mackey.
Okay, Marvin's made a motion, $26,410.
I'll second the motion.
Sandy seconded. Any more discussion or questions on it? All those in favor? Unanimous.
Which, by the way, my original estimate was what, 45,000 to get this done?
Okay, it is 6:53 and we are adjourned.
I'm not a motion.
Well, you're not on here, so you can't really make a motion.
Concludes the hospital board meeting.